A Star Destroyer dispatches probes across the galaxy with one landing on the frozen world of Hoth. As the droid begins scanning the snow, Luke Skywalker patrols nearby on a Tauntaun. He spots the impact and radios Han Solo before riding to investigate the crash site. Suddenly, a massive Wampa ambushes the young commander, knocking him unconscious. Lesson 1. There is greater vulnerability when alone. At Echo Base, Han Solo informs General Riken that he must leave to pay off Jabba. Riken regrets losing a good fighter, but understands. As Han attempts to say goodbye to Princess Leia, she follows him down the corridor, and they bicker relentlessly as Han tries to goad her into admitting she needs him, culminating in her saying she'd rather kiss a Wookiee. Lesson 2. Love makes us do strange things. Han learns Luke hasn't returned and rushes to search. Though an officer warns him the dropping temperature will kill his mount, Han ignores the danger and rides into the freezing snow alone. Lesson 3. In the words of G.K. Chesterton, courage is a strong desire to live, taking the form of a readiness to die. Luke wakes hanging from the cave ceiling. He uses the Force to pull his lightsaber to his hand, cuts himself loose, and fights off the Wampa. Escaping into the blizzard, he collapses in the snow. Lesson 4. Calm is a great ally in times of emergency. Han searches desperately for his friend while Leia and Chewbacca wait anxiously at Echo Base. The massive blast doors seal shut for the night, prompting C-3PO to recite the grim survival odds. Lesson 5. In the words of Corey ten Boom, worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow, it empties today of its strength. Luke drifts in and out of consciousness, seeing a vision of Obi-Wan telling him to find Yoda. Han arrives just as his Tauntaun dies. He ignites Luke's lightsaber to slice the beast open, stuffing Luke inside the steaming carcass for warmth before setting up a tent. Lesson 6. Resourcefulness is finding new possibilities. A snowspeeder crew searches the morning ice, repeatedly hailing Skywalker and Solo. Solo finally answers the signal, guiding the pilot to their location for rescue. Luke recovers in the medical bay as friends gather to celebrate his return. When Han and Leia trade insults, the princess shuts the pilot down by planting a kiss on Luke's mouth. Han looks stunned while Luke leans back with a wonderfully smug grin. Lesson 7. In the words of Hubert H. Humphrey, the greatest healing therapy is friendship and love. Han investigates a transmission and discovers an Imperial probe droid spying on the base. He and Chewbacca investigate, but the droid self-destructs quickly. Within his fleet searching for the Rebel Alliance, Darth Vader inspects an image returned by the probe droid. Confirming he has found the rebels, he overrides his admiral's hesitation and orders the fleet to set course for Hoth. Lesson 8. In the words of Thomas Edison, good fortune is what happens when opportunity meets with planning. As Star Destroyers arrive at Hoth, a clumsy lightspeed exit alerts the rebels. Vader executes Admiral Ozzel for his incompetence and immediately promotes Captain Piet to command the fleet. Lesson 9. Even with superior force, stealth is an important tactic. The planetary ion cannon fires, disabling a Star Destroyer to allow the first Rebel transport to slip away safely. Ground troops dig into trenches, while Luke Skywalker leads Rogue Squadron in snowspeeders. Monstrous AT-AT walkers lumber out of the mist. The snowspeeder's lasers deflect harmlessly off the Imperial armor. Switching tactics, Wedge Antilles deploys a harpoon and tow cable to entangle an AT-AT's legs so they can destroy it. Lesson 10. In the words of Benjamin Franklin, energy and persistence conquer all things. Han prepares to evacuate as the Rebel defense falters. Snowspeeders burn and lines break. Luke is shot down, crashing hard. He barely escapes his wreckage before a walker crushes it. Lesson 11. When faced with fear, focus on the actions you can take. Chaos consumes Echo Base as the evacuation begins. Han grabs Leia and drags her toward the transports while troops flee. On the ice, Luke scales a walker and destroys it with an explosive charge. General Veers in his AT-AT destroys the power generator, allowing for more Imperials to land on the planet. Han, Leia, and C-3PO are cut off and are forced to sprint for the Falcon. Snowtroopers storm the hangar and open fire, but just as Darth Vader strides into the bay, the Millennium Falcon takes off and escapes. Lesson 12. Seconds matter. The Empire's power and preparation were not enough against timing and luck. Luke recovers his X-Wing and blasts off planet with R2-D2. Breaking away from the planned rendezvous with the rebel fleet, he sets a course for the Dagobah system. A Star Destroyer chases the Falcon as Han performs evasive maneuvers. He attempts a jump to light speed, but the hyperdrive fails. Lesson 13. When faced with a failure, don't give up. Han Solo pilots the Falcon straight into a chaotic asteroid field. While his shields hold, pursuing TIE fighters smash into drifting rocks and explode. Dodging debris, Han steers toward a massive asteroid and dives deep into a dark crater to hide from the Empire. Lesson 14. In the words of General Patton, take calculated risks. That is quite different from being rash. Luke pilots his X-Wing into the atmosphere and crash lands violently into a stagnant swamp. Luke climbs from the cockpit to survey the damage, while R2-D2 falls into the murky water. They move to land close by, both realizing they are stranded in a dangerous, desolate place. Luke Skywalker sets up camp and muses that the planet feels familiar, but is surprised by a small, eccentric creature. The stranger acts bizarrely and Luke grows annoyed with the creature. The creature offers to take him to the Jedi Master, so Luke eagerly follows. Lesson 15. Treat all strangers with kindness and hospitality. You never know who they may end up being. Inside the Millennium Falcon, Han and Chewbacca struggle with repairs. When Han finds Leia alone, he corners the princess and Leia feigns resistance, but her trembling betrays her. Just as she gives in and they share a passionate kiss, C-3PO interrupts with ship updates. Aboard the Executor, Darth Vader orders Admiral Piet to pursue the rebels into the asteroids, even as the massive rocks pulverize the Star Destroyers. Vader then bows before a hologram of the Emperor, who warns that the son of Anakin Skywalker is a threat who must be destroyed. Vader counters that the boy's strength in the Force could be a great asset, and convinces his master that Luke could be turned to the dark side. Lesson 16. Dangerous is the enemy that doesn't want to just destroy you, but to seduce you to the dark side. Inside the cramped hut, Luke pesters the creature about finding Yoda. The little being plays dumb, testing the pilot's patience until he sees enough of Luke's character. Luke realizes his great mistake. Yoda dismisses him, telling Ben that the boy is too reckless, impatient, and only craves adventure. Luke pleads his case, frantically insisting he is ready to learn the ways of the Force. Lesson 17. Character is found out when your guard is down. While Imperial Star Destroyers shoot their way through the asteroid field, the Millennium Falcon lies hidden. With strange noises outside the ship, Han, Chewbacca, and Leia venture outside to investigate. They discover Minox chewing on power cables and blast the pests away. Suddenly, the ground quakes violently. Han realizes they are not in a cave, but inside a huge beast. They escape out the space slug's mouth moments before its teeth snap shut. Lesson 18. Beware of false securities. Luke trains rigorously in the Dagobah swamps with Yoda clinging to his back. Yoda points toward a dark cave and instructs his apprentice to enter. Inside the darkness, Darth Vader suddenly emerges. Luke somehow is able to quickly bring the Sith Lord down, but the severed helmet bursts open, revealing Luke's own face staring back at him. Lesson 19. Fear is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Vader assembles a group of bounty hunters in the hunt for the Millennium Falcon. With his hyperdrive broken and the ship taking heavy fire, Han executes a desperate maneuver. He charges a Star Destroyer and attaches the Falcon to a blind spot on its hull, successfully vanishing from their sensors. Lesson 20. Find your enemy's blind spots. Luke continues his Force training, but his concentration shatters when his sunken X-Wing slides deeper into the murky bog. Yoda gives him the challenge to lift it, and Luke tries, shifting it slightly before quitting in frustration. When he walks away declaring the feat impossible, Yoda closes his eyes and raises the massive starfighter from the swamp. Luke stares in shock. Yoda looks up and simply tells him that his lack of belief is exactly why he failed. Lesson 21. Disbelief destroys possibilities. Darth Vader executes Captain Needa for his failure and orders the fleet to disperse. As the Star Destroyer jettisons its waste, the Falcon releases its grip and floats silently away amidst the debris. The Imperial fleet jumps to lightspeed, leaving the trash behind. Leia is impressed by the maneuver, but as they limp away, the bounty hunter Boba Fett stealthily follows them. Lesson 22. Hidden enemies are far more dangerous. Luke trains lifting R2-D2 but falters, struck by a vision of his friends in pain. He asks if they will die. Despite Yoda's plea to stay, Luke resolves to leave and rescue them. The Millennium Falcon reaches the clouds of Bespin. They touch down on a landing platform where Leia remains visibly anxious about the reunion. Lando Calrissian welcomes them as he kisses Leia's hand and leads everyone inside. As they walk down the pristine white corridors, C-3PO lags behind and wanders into a maintenance room. He stumbles upon an intruder and is blasted to pieces. Further ahead, Chewbacca turns back, confused why 3PO is missing. Lesson 23. One wrong move can have disastrous results. Luke repairs his ship, ignoring Yoda's warning that he is not ready. Obi-Wan appears, arguing that facing Vader now is a path to the dark side. Luke refuses to abandon his friends to pain and death. He promises to return and flies away. Yoda and Obi-Wan watch him leave, lamenting the boy's recklessness and fearing he is too impulsive to survive the confrontation. Lesson 24. Acting on fears and worries can often bring fruitless results. While Han and Leia relax in their luxurious quarters, Chewbacca enters carrying the dismantled scraps of a destroyed C-3PO. Han and Leia are baffled, but Lando arrives to invite them to a meal. He leads the group through the city, boasting about his independent operation. As Lando opens the dining room door, the trap springs. Darth Vader sits at the head of the table. Han is disarmed while stormtroopers surround them. A regretful Lando admits he had no choice. Chewbacca howls inside the detention cell, reassembling C-3PO as he waits. Meanwhile, Vader interrogates Han Solo. Lando confronts the Sith Lord, complaining that the arrangement keeps changing and insisting on fair treatment. Lesson 25. In the words of Winston Churchill, an appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. Chewbacca works to repair C-3PO until guards shove a tortured Han Solo inside. He collapses in pain, and Leia rushes to comfort him. Lando enters to reveal the Empire actually wants Skywalker, and they are merely bait. Furious, Han punches his friend, but Lando insists the Empire forced his hand. Darth Vader inspects the carbon freezing chamber, intending to trap Luke Skywalker. Stormtroopers march the captives onto the industrial platform. Chewbacca lashes out in a panic, throwing soldiers aside until Han Solo calms him down. Facing his fate, Han shares a final goodbye with Leia. She tells him she loves him, and he simply replies, "I know." Lesson 26. Separation brings clarity to love. When Han comes out, he is frozen in carbonite, but alive in hibernation. Vader hands the prize to Boba Fett and coldly alters his deal with Lando, claiming custody of Leia and Chewbacca. As Boba Fett takes Han away, Luke arrives and tries to sneak in to find his friends. Luke starts fighting with stormtroopers, but finds himself separated as Darth Vader's trap starts closing on him. Forced to head toward the carbon freezing chamber, Luke confronts Vader and ignites his weapon. He attacks aggressively, yet Vader effortlessly parries every strike, keeping the young Jedi at bay. Lesson 27. Incomplete training yields dangerous results. Lando's guards ambush the stormtroopers, allowing him to uncuff the prisoners. Chewbacca immediately strangles Lando until he grasps that there is still a chance to save Han. They race to the landing platform to intercept Boba Fett, but the bounty hunter takes flight just as they arrive. Lesson 28. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., the time is always right to do what is right. As Luke battles Vader, Vader knocks him into the pit, but Luke leaps out, earning praise for his training. Luke rallies, pushing Vader off the platform. When he investigates, Vader ambushes him, using the Force to hurl objects at Luke. Luke frantically deflects the debris until the window behind him breaks. The sudden decompression sucks Luke out of the room. Leia and Chewbacca trade blaster fire with pursuing stormtroopers, while Lando broadcasts a warning to Cloud City, urging citizens to evacuate immediately. The group sprints through the corridors under heavy attack until R2-D2 unlocks a door and deploys a dense fog to obscure their escape. They rush across the platform to the Millennium Falcon, firing back from the boarding ramp before the ship finally lifts off and flees the city. Lesson 29. Knowing when to retreat is just as important as knowing when to fight. Vader overwhelms the young Jedi with a final attack and severs Luke's hand, sending his lightsaber tumbling into the abyss. Defeated, Luke clings to the edge as Vader offers a dark alliance. When Luke refuses, Vader delivers a shattering truth. He is Luke's father. Horrified, Luke screams in denial, but deep down he realizes it's true. Faced with the dark side or death, Luke releases his grip, plummeting into the unknown. Lesson 30. Always do what is right, even when defeated, broken, and discouraged. He is ejected beneath the city, barely catching himself. Hanging over the clouds with no escape, he reaches out with the Force to Leia, who senses his desperation and orders the Falcon to turn around. The Falcon swoops under Cloud City to find Luke hanging from the vane. Lando pulls him inside just as the TIE fighters attack. The ship speeds away, and a battered but safe Luke shares a relieved hug with Leia. Vader returns to the Executor as he prepares to capture his prey. On the Millennium Falcon, Leia and Lando panic when the hyperdrive fails. Lando insists it is not his fault, unaware that Vader deactivated the system to trap them. As TIE fighters pursue, Luke senses Vader calling to him. R2-D2 heard from the central computer about the disabled drive and re-enables the drive himself. The ship blasts into lightspeed, leaving the fleet behind. Vader watches his prize vanish, then turns and walks away in silent defeat. Lesson 31. Like R2, keep your eyes and ears open. You never know when you'll find something important. Safe aboard the Rebel fleet, Luke tests the reflexes of his new prosthetic hand. Lando and Chewbacca board the Falcon, departing to search for Han. Together again, they will never give up in their fight against the Empire. Lesson 32. In the words of Victor Hugo, even the darkest night will end, and the sun will rise.